I have great passion for seeing people fulfill destiny. So much passionate that I can go out of my way to ensure that I steer you up to do something that you don't think you could do. I have passion for seeing people fulfill destiny because everyone has a destiny. Everyone has something to accomplish on the earth. So I'm so passionate also about seeing marriage and relationship work. I have so much great passion on marriage and relationship, and I realize that one of the things that can help us in building a sustainable marriage is if we understand how relationship works from the beginning. Relationship is the foundation. As a matter of fact, relationship is not really the foundation. Your personality is the foundation of marriage, because it is your person that comes into a relationship. If you are the wrong person marries the wrong person, then there will be a wrong home. So the person is really the foundation of relationship. It's your person. If we don't work on who we are, we might attract who we don't want to attract, then we live the kind of life we don't want to live. So I will say that relationship is not really the foundation of marriage, but your personality, who you are, is the foundation of marriage. So part of what we're going to be doing, Singles Hangout, is to see how do we work on ourselves to become a better person. If we live in a world where we have everyone living in this world is a better person, then we should have a better home. If everyone living in this community is a better person, we shouldn't have problem meeting anybody, having a good relationship with anybody and getting married to anybody, because we all are better persons. We have worked on our personality, we have worked on our weaknesses, strengthened our areas of weakness in order to move on. So I have had singles ask me different questions, advices, and I've also shared so many different experiences with them. Just like I asked you, I've had people share their experiences with me, and I realized that there are some areas of challenge in our society that we need to work on. Part of it is what I've shared with you on being the right person. So the objective of this Singles Hangout really is to be able to serve as a platform for enlightening, equipping, and empowering singles for maximizing their singlehood, and also to prepare them for marital success. Marriage is designed to work. Marriage can succeed, but the thing is that it is who is involved in it that determines what it will evolve into. The two people in a relationship determines what the relationship will become, and if we don't start working on it, we might have great challenges in it. So we're going to be having interaction, we're going to be learning, we're going to be sharing views, we're going to be having impartation, we're going to be connecting also. It's also to serve as a platform for connecting. I realize over time I've had people, different age levels, to share so many things with me. Part of the challenge I see in societies like this is that we hardly have platforms for connecting with people. We hardly have platforms outside of the school system. Nobody's going to knock on your door to say, hey, are you single or not? Or are you looking or you are not? Nobody's going to do that. So it's going to be a platform where we're going to be able to at least connect together, build ourselves together, and we'll see how we work on things. Now, there will be time for questions. All I want to do is just to share a little insight with you on relationship. So what I'm sharing is called Insight for Singles. Just some few things that we probably need to know, or we probably need to, build our minds. Or your phone is not there anymore. so that we can build a sustainable relationship. Now, everyone watching on Facebook, if you have questions, you can send it in. And I want you to do me a favor. You know somebody that is single, share this video with them, invite a friend. Let's get as many on, and then we can move on. I want you to know that the deeper your insights, the greater your exploit. The deeper your insight on anything, the greater your exploit. How far or how high you can rise in life is traceable to the content of what you have access to, what you know, what you have taken your time to understand. Just like every institution, there is something to learn in order to succeed in it, to excel in it, and to become great. So also relationship and marriage, there are things to know. Not to know them is not an excuse for having marital failure. There are things to know. In fact, there are the things we need to know in marriage and relationship. Many times they are ongoing. We need to keep knowing them, discovering some things, and that's part of the reasons why we come to platforms like this, so that we can share views. And I believe there is no all-knowing when it comes to relationship. There is no one that is all-knowing. There are things you know that I don't know. There are things I know you don't know. There are things you know by experience that because I didn't have that experience, I don't know it. That's why people say that experience is the greatest teacher, because there are things you get to discover by experience that others don't have access into. So that's part of the reasons why we are sharing views. But insight is important for anything. How far you can go is based on something you know. The difference between somebody achieving result many times and the people that are not achieving anything is not because of strength, but sometimes because of what they know how to do that others don't know how to do. One of the insights I want to share with us today is that relationship and marriage is not an end. It's not an end. As a matter of fact, I want to say this based on my experience, that it is not what really brings you fulfillment. That is not what brings you fulfillment. I've seen people say, I just want to get married, I just want to be in a relationship, but it is not the end of life. It is actually only a means to an end. Is a means to an end. Relationship is not the end of life. Marriage is not the end of life. The question is, let's assume I want to be married, I want to be married. Then now that you are married, what next? That's why many people get married and they realize that, oh, it was a different thing I was thinking. Some people get things that once they get married, all the problem of their life will disappear. You know, and some people think that, oh, if I can just get the right man, I will be happy. Man, it's not really marriage that makes people happy. If you are not a happy person, you can't be married, even if you marry the best man. But you see, there are some things that are just based on what I said earlier, your personality, your person. The reason why is because we have to be able to see relationship from the right perspective. It is a means to the end. Can a relationship and marriage make you happy or make you happier? Oh yes. If you are with the right person, you will be happy and you'll be happier. Can relationship jeopardize your future? Oh, it can. If you are in the wrong boat, you automatically expect the wrong thing to happen. So I want us to understand that relationship and marriage is not the end. It's not an end. It's only a means to an end. Number one, relationship is designed to make us better and not really make us bitter. But if we are in with the wrong person, or we are in the wrong relationship, we can expect some level of bitterness. Why? 2 is better than 1. If 2 people connect together, they should be able to achieve more than what one person will achieve. But it is 2 right people, 2 wrong people, rather than achieving more, they will be pulling each other aside and apart. So that's why I say that relationship is not the end. We have to look beyond the reason. That's why we have to create a reason. Why do I want to be in a relationship? We have to be able to define it, because a purposeless relationship will give birth to a purposeless marriage. There is always everything God did or does, there is always a purpose attached to it. And as singles, one major question we should ask, which will also guide us in being able to identify what kind of a person do I need, or what kind of a person should I commit myself to. The question is, why do I want to be in a relationship? And everybody's answer is different. Some people want to be in a relationship because all their friends are getting married. I once had a relationship while I was single because everyone in my cycle had a girlfriend. And I said, where's your own? You know, when they're almost calling you names because you don't have girl, you're too holy, rah, rah. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to make sure that they don't call me this name anymore. So I just grabbed one person. And I grabbed the girl and we started. So I was able to defend myself that no, I have a girl now here. But in me, I knew later, I was in it for almost 7 years, but I knew later that this is not what I want to do. I realized that I was in it for the wrong reason, because I was trying to defend what is not defendable. So some people are in relationship because of pressure or because of a need to have. I had somebody told me that because I'm feeling lonely, isolation, because of loneliness. I just needed somebody. Because it's beyond that. It's beyond the fact that you just need. Of course, it solves that problem, but if you are with the wrong person, instead of solving loneliness, it will bring you lowliness. It will make you so feel low about yourself that what have I done with myself? So we must be careful to define a relationship or define the purpose for which we want to be in a relationship. And what can help us is to know that relationship and marriage is not the end. People get married and they wake up the next day after all the wedding and thing, even after the honeymoon, to realize that what happened. Then you now realize that, okay, what do we do next? Oh, you wake up with somebody beside you. Probably you've not slept with somebody before. You wake up with somebody. Then what is the next thing to do? You continue. Life continues. You still have a career to fulfill. You still have a destiny to fulfill. You still have what you need to achieve in life. But what relationship is supposed to do, marriage is supposed to help us channel it better. And that is why in anything you want to get into a relationship, if you want to, you have to be able to ensure that the person you want to relate with or be in the same ship with, because relationship is all about relate in a ship. Relate in a ship. You are in a ship with somebody, and when you are in a ship, it's a risk. If both of you misbehave, you can find yourself in the sea. And if you get it right, you can find yourself at the shore. So it's either the sea or the shore, whichever. So we need to understand that relationship is not the end. Let's have a definition. And the answer is yours. Why do I want to be in this relationship or this marriage? Some people are in it because they think they are grown or they are old or age is not on their side. Those things could be right, but they are not all that determines why you should be in a relationship. Why should I be in a relationship? And when I ask myself, number one, because I want to fulfill purpose. I want to fulfill purpose. And I need, when God created relationship for meeting need. Help meet. Not help mate. Help meet. M-E-E-T. If you look at the scripture very well, that's what you will see. This is somebody that's supposed to help me to meet up. Help meet. So my strength is our weakness, my weakness, our strength. We're going to meet up together. There was something God had designed for Adam to achieve before Eve came into our life. May I ask a question? Let's look at it. Why do you think people should be in a relationship, or why do you think people should get married? Just your view. It's not good for a man to be alone. Okay, that's good. So, but the man should not just go and carry anybody. That's very important. That is for companionship. For companionship alone. God tried to solve the problem of being alone, not just in idleness or loneliness, but also to have companionship, so that it will be able to have enough strength to achieve, or enough help to achieve what has been committed to the person. So thank you for that. Any other view? Why should we be in a relationship? Why? What should be the why of a relationship? And like I said, we need to be able to fulfill purpose. And the purpose you don't discover, you may not be able to fulfill. So there must be a purpose discovery. Okay. There must be a purpose discovery in order for there to be a purpose fulfillment. We have to discover purpose so that we'll be able to fulfill purpose. So marriage and relationship is not the end. It is a means to an end. And if two of us will see that way, we will be asking ourselves that question. Okay, what if we get married tomorrow? What is going to be the next thing? What is our vision for life? What is our pursuit? What are we trying to achieve together? That is why we are coming together. That's why they call marriage or relationship partnering. We partner. That's why I call them my partner. So it can be partner in crime or partner in achievement. So that is very important as we look at that. Number two insight I want to share is that the sincerity and the seriousness of partners in relationship affect the success of the relationship. The sincerity and the seriousness of partners in relationship affects the success of that relationship. The sincerity and the seriousness. The sincerity and seriousness. There is nothing we can do to that. If we are not serious about it, we cannot make it work. Relationship is a serious thing, and we have to be serious about it so that we'll be able to make it work. If we don't take it seriously, or we are not sincere with it, we will not be able to achieve the result we really desire to achieve in it. So the sincerity and the seriousness of partners in relationship affects the success of the relationship. The sincerity and the seriousness. Relationship is a serious thing. We have to take it serious and be sincere. When you are in a relationship with somebody, one of the things that I've had people have their fingers, burned is because of lack of sincerity. When you are not sincere with who you are. And that's why I said that before you drop into the level of commitment, you want to be sure that this is what you want to do. You want to be sure that this is what you want to be involved in. This is what you want to spend your life in. If you are not sure, and that is also why it helps to start as a friend. It helps to start as a friend in order to be able to make it work. So we need to build a relationship where both partners are sincere. You are in it for good. You are not in it because of goods. You are in it for good. If you are in it for goods, then you won't be able to be sincere in it or with it. And that's why it's something you want to look into before you dive into. Then next thing, thank you, sirs. The next thing I want to share is that, and that is also something that has to do with the other one, that relationship and marriage is not much about what we have or what we want to get from it, but who we are. It is not much about what we have. There are people, you might have the best of knowledge, you might have the best of house. That doesn't mean that you will have the best of marriage. You might have the best of everything, but that doesn't guarantee that you will have the best of marriage. The reason why is because marriage is more than what we have or what we want to get, but who we are. It is who we are. And that is part of the reason why we don't marry for what we want to get. If we marry for what we want to get, or we are in a relationship because of what we want to get, then we will not be sincere in it. Then our purpose for being in it will also be wrong. Then our act in it will automatically be wrong. So what I'm saying now is to both sides, both party. We live in a world right now that we are currently in a situation. Oftentimes I've seen singles come to me, I saw a guy, but my mom said we can't marry because he doesn't have paper. Marriage is beyond paper. Of course, there have been issues, precedences. That's why if we start working on correcting things and we start living right, we'll be able to see beyond what we want to get. And that's why you don't, no matter what you are looking for, no matter, even if you come to the country, you don't have paper, there is still a life to fulfill. So don't just hook anybody because of papers. Because after the paper is settled, then what remains? It will be Pepe. When paper is gone, it is paper that remains. So we got to be able to identify that this relationship is beyond, because really we are not marrying the paper. That's why I tell people we are not getting married to paper. Paper is just what enhances our stay. But if you don't stay here, if you stay in any other country, you can still succeed. So it should transcend into paper. And we should also be sensitive when we have people come around us to test what is their mind, to test why they are there. Because if we marry or we enter into a relationship because of what people want to get, the moment they get what they want to get from us, what drew them, the attraction that brought them to us will begin to diminish. You understand what I'm saying now? So in relationship and marriage is not much about what we have. And that's why you also don't judge based on what we have. You don't choose based on what you have in a relationship or in a marriage. It is much more about who we are. The most important part of our life that we need to work on is who we are. And that's part of the reasons why I want us to be hanging out, on quarterly basis like this, to begin to sharpen ourselves. Because one of the things we do as singles on our way in relationship, on our way to getting married, is to begin to adjust. There is always room for improvement in life. There are things we need to adjust. There are things we need to stop doing. There are things we need to start doing, embracing, if we will make relationship work. Because relationship is just about two people raised by two parents, raised differently, exposed to different things. Then our mentality is based most of the time on our environment, the place where we grew up, the association that we keep. So we are bringing two different mentality into a home. Then you expect, it is either you expect a boxing ring or you expect a synergy. You understand? It will become a boxing ring when somebody is not willing to adjust, accept. In relationship, to make it work, there are things you have to accept. In fact, somebody told me that in marriage we do a lot of compromise. There are times you wish like acting up that you just have for the purpose of the reason why we have come together. We will defer our reactions. To tell you that you won't have issues is a lie, because you are from two different places, two different parents, two different environments. Some of us, we have been influenced by the success or the failures of our parents' marriage, that we have learned and gained something in it that we will bring into the homes that we are coming in. But now that we are single, that is part of maximizing singlehood. We need to start dropping some baggages, some load, some extra things that will not. The fact that your father and your mother lived some way doesn't mean that you're going to live that same way with your spouse. It might not work. They may live in that same way in different environment, but you might be in a different atmosphere. You have to be able to discover what works for you. And that's why I tell people also that the two relationships, if you put them together, they may not work the same way. Why? You are different. The other party, they are different. There are some our personality is different. Some of us we talk, some of us we don't talk. Some of us we talk, but we pretend as if we don't talk. But when we are in relationship, you just have to be real. One of the things I want to tell singles is be real from the beginning. Be real. There is no room for hiding. If we are real, if I want to dive into it or I want to dive out of it. And if you see somebody that is actually real, you will know. If somebody is pancaking and covering up, you will know. So you have to enter it with a mind of sincerity, but we need to work on who we are, because after all these things, it is who we are that remains. I posted something recently on my wall, and it came to me because I realized that we are in a generation now that people spend more time, more energy, more effort on wedding than we do on marriage. And I told myself that if only we will spend half of the energy, the planning, the program, the thing, the dancing. If you see the way they rehearse for dance now, you will be afraid. Thank God I'm already married, because if they want me to come and do some of this dance, I won't even dare them. The way we were getting married, they said I should carry my wife. I say no, don't worry. We will do the other ones when we get in the house. So there is no carriage. So if we put half of the energy that we are putting on wedding and building our marriage, we will have more successful marriages. Part of the reason is because wedding is planned, but marriage is built. Which of them takes more effort? Building. You have to have a foundation. Sometimes you are building on and the thing crash, you got to build again. But wedding is planned. That's why you have wedding planner, but we don't have wedding builders. We don't have marriage builders. These are platforms where we can establish to begin to build our marriages, so that we will start from the right person, and the right foundation is yourself, because that is who you are carrying into the home. That is who you are going with. Some of us, we have built some nature and characters and attitude that we say, no, nobody can change me. Even if God come from heaven now, I can't change. Ma'am and says, you got to change. You got to change, because one of the things that is inevitably we can't do without is change. Change is constant. Change is consistent, but it's going to be change for better. Change for better. That is one of the things we need to embrace in relationships. So I'm sharing this because I realize that the foundation of a life or marriage is the person. We need to start working on our person. For some of us that have had negative experiences of marriages, we should ask ourselves a question. Did I come out better or I came out bitter? If you come out bitter, you're going to be causing bitterness for people that comes your way. So the best you can do is to learn why did this relationship end? What am I going to learn from it that can make me better, so that I will be better positioned for the next person coming my way? You understand? If probably you ask yourself the question now as you are seated, that why did I enter into that relationship, you will be able to find an answer to see if probably because you saw a gift, or you saw some curves or some parts. These days there are things that people talk about. Is that I'm looking for 6 feet tall, 6 packs, and 6 figure. And when you look at all those things, you see is the mark of the beast. So it is possible to have 6 packs and not have anything in the upstairs. You understand? It's possible to have 6 packs. You might have 6. In fact, there are people that are 6 feet tall, 6.2. But the height of a person does not determine their art. Height does not determine art. They might be tall, but they might be very little inside. That's why it is who, even when we change, who we relate with, what we relate it in relationship is the person. So we have to be the right person so that we can operate with the right mindset in our relationship. So we need to learn from our past and previous relationship, what can I bring out of it? Why did I get into it? What makes it to fail? What can I learn from it? What can I work upon? Are there areas where I have faults, or I have things that I need to work upon? When we begin to look into it, we'll begin to see areas where we have personal issues that we need to solve. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Just very briefly, that I had somebody call me some couple of weeks ago and was telling me something that I didn't know it does exist on this side of the world. And I want to beg you that understand this, that soul tie and blood covenant in relationship is not binding enough to hold your partners down. Soul tie and blood covenant. You know what this lady was sharing with me, that while they were in college, he had a blood covenant with a guy. I said, how did you do it? He said, he cut his hand, I cut my hand, we licked our blood together, and we soaked. I was like, I knew it does happen where I'm coming from, but I didn't know it does happen here. Now, eventually, they are no more. But this lady is not able to move on. The guy is not able to move on because there has been a connection in the spirit world. That's what it does, a covenant. They told themselves, we are having a covenant. And now the purpose of the covenant was to hold each other down, but eventually the old thing can't tie them. But now they have to be paying for probably ignorance of what they have put themselves into that they ought not to put themselves into. Why am I sharing this with you is that, you see, if something is going to work, you will know. If it's not going to work along the line, you will know. Everything is just a matter of time. The person that came to you today with deception is a matter of time. It's going to show up. If somebody's intention is real, it's a matter of time, it's going to show. So, and the same thing happens in marriage. Don't try that, by all means, I must not lose this guy, I'm going to tie him down. You see, sex is not a proof of love. Sex is not a proof of love. If it were to be, then so many people should be in love with harlots. Many people should be walking on the street, their mind is with the harlot in love, because they can have so many sex. So harlots should have many lovers. But it's not. Sex is not really a proof of love. The proof of love is sacrificial. Sacrificial. Care. What concern do you have about my life? What concern do you have about my future? How concerned about you? How concerned am I in regards to this person becoming all that God wants the person to become? So I realized that sex is not a major proof of love. As I say, prove your love to me, prove your love to me. There are many ways to prove love. But many times we have to be careful so that we don't tie even our own destiny down, because we are trying to tie somebody down. I've shared with you that it is who we are. I can say this also, that although I'm not advocating singlehood, but it is better to remain single than to be wrongly married. I can tell you that. It is better to, you know why? Wrong marriage can lead to early grief. It can lead to destiny diversion. And sometimes it can lead to frustration unnecessarily. It is better to be single and taking your time than to be wrongly hooked up and carried up. Be single and take your time. However, I don't want you to be single and take your time forever. You understand? Because also there are seasons for things. There are people that have taken their time and they wake up to realize that, oh, I'm 42 already. No. You see, the thing is that somebody asked me, what is the right age to be in a relationship, or what is the right age to get married? Marriage is not much about age, it's about maturity. There are many babies in marriage that they don't even understand anything about it. So it is much about maturity, and that is part of what can help us to mature, is to understand earlier that what we are bringing into marriage is myself, who I am. So I need to start working on myself. Now that you are single, take your time to build your person. Invest in your personality. Invest in yourself. Invest in your mental capacity. Invest in your communication skill. Because what helps us in marriage and relationship is communication. If you see a lady and you cannot express yourself, you'll just be looking at you. There are ways to communicate. You know, in the days of our time, you have to be able to talk. You have to be able to talk. And sometimes we start like, hey baby, it's like I've seen you somewhere. Your face look familiar. My name is this and that. And you begin to, you know, because ladies are moved by what they hear. Men are moved by what they see. If you are good, if you can talk, you can win anybody. You can win, and you'll be able to, like this Wale guy can talk, you know. So, but men are moved by what they see, but women are moved by what they hear and what they read. That's why they are always craving for you to say something. Say something. If they talk and you're not talking, they feel that your mind is not in the relationship. And that is part of the things that we need to work on. Our ability to communicate, to know the communications channels that work. Because what you want to say is good, but how you say it is also very important. How you say it is what you say that can trigger a reaction, either a positive reaction or a negative reaction. Most of the time it is based on what we say and how we say. So it is better to stay single, work on yourself, but don't be wrongly married. Don't marry for the wrong reason. Don't marry for pressure. No. Don't also be in a relationship because everybody is saying you should be, or this guy is good. Even if, like we have in our world now, that we do referrals, I bring somebody to you. Don't be in a relationship because somebody, even your pastor, because your pastor brought the person to you. No, because at the end of the day, it's not your pastor that will be in the house with you. Many times the pastor may think he knows somebody, but he doesn't know, because many times when people come to pastor, they come in their best. Just like somebody is going on a date. If you really want to know a person, go and wake up early in the morning and go to their door, knock on their door. Before all the foundation and the pancake and the layovers are there, you'll be able to see the original, you know, what you want to buy. No, that is the best way to know who you're dealing with. Don't go to the place where you realize that what you have is only a deception of who the person is originally. So what I'm saying in essence, you know, I mean, jokes apart, is that you have to get to know who the person is by yourself, not based on what a third party told you about the person. Because who is going to deal with them is you. And remember, in marriage, the foundation is you. Is the person, is you. So the more we work on ourselves, the more it's easy for us to be able to make things work.